right, I see 3 of you in here, and yeah, I can see who's in here as well. So I will know who is paying attention and who is not paying attention. So please, please, I appreciate you being here. I understand all of you have to, work in between and whatnot. So just, please, please, please. You can do this on your desktop or your phone. All right. Cora, we're recording, right? Because I see the notification on the top. All right, awesome. Well, hello, everyone. I'm so excited for today. I'm very, very excited. I love this topic. It is very near and dear to my heart. So with that, welcome to today's training, which is Financial Wellness Part 1, and then there's going to be a Part 2 on September 7th. So we are live today on September 2nd. Thrilled that all of you are here today, so thank you. I definitely appreciate it. I am, for those wondering, Crystal Cedino. I am the Training and Development Manager for the Native Learning Center. I've been working for the Seminole Tribe of Florida and the Native Learning Center for the past 5 years. My background was in customer service, and then I joined the NLC. And I started off actually as the receptionist, and then made my way to the position that I'm currently in today. And yeah, I love it. I feel so lucky. I'm thrilled. I am, for those wondering, I am BNC certified, which, and if you don't know what that is, it's Building Native Communities Financial Skills for Families certified. It's through First Nations OESTA, or actually it's just OESTA Corporation right now. They changed their name. But yes, I am certified through them. And then I read a bunch of financial books and whatnot, which I'm going to give you information on as well. And yeah, so I mean, that's pretty much it for as far as my professional background goes. I'd like to tell you guys a little bit more about me as an individual. So on here you can see some images. We've got Kate Spade, we have some podcasts, we have Starbucks coffee, and then we have an English and French bulldog. So just a little bit about me. I am a Kate Spade freak, and I mean that wholeheartedly. I have like everything Kate Spade. You can ask Cora. I've got coffee cups, purses, bags, the whole nine. I love it so much. That's like my thing. So that is my luxury, if you will. And then I have my own podcast, but I'm also the host of the Native Learning Center's podcast called the Holistic Podcast. So yeah, tune into that, and you can find that on the Native Learning Center website. Just a little bit more about me. I love me a good Starbucks coffee. I get an ice shaken espresso with, oh gosh, you guys are going to cringe, 6 pumps of classic syrup. That is a lot of sugar, but that's how I like it. And then one day I hope to own, adopt, whatever it may be, either French bulldog or English bulldog. That's just the dog of my choice. I think they're so cute. My mom says they are ugly cute, and I'm like, no, they're just cute. So with that, yep, that's just about me essentially. But what I wanted to do before we really dive into the material, because I also want to get to know all of you, just some housekeeping. So the platform that you all connected through via camera is Microsoft Teams. And with that, there's some features. So depending on whether you actually downloaded the application or you are viewing it through the web browser, some of the things are just slightly different, but essentially you can go ahead and connect your camera, which I would love for all of you to do. I see on my screen up top on my television, I only see one other person. So if you can, go ahead and connect it. I really want to make this as interactive, and I want to see all of you. And then those that are just joining, be sure to go ahead and get onto Nearpod. The code's in the upper left-hand corner of the screen from what you can see. And that way you guys can interact with everything that I have going on in today's presentation. So this isn't just you're going to sit here and you're going to hear me babble for the next hour and a half. You're actually going to participate, because I want you guys to actually really grasp the concepts that I'm going to be discussing. So you have, your camera, your microphone, and then chat functions as well. So, feel free to use that chat box. I really do encourage that. Like I said, interactive, you know, that's how I like it. All right, and then just some other features. Again, microphone. There's a bunch of stuff. You can change your background. You can use emojis to interact. So you can do like thumbs up, and that's usually going to be at the top of your screen. If you're using the web browser, you can hover your mouse towards the bottom, and you'll see all the features towards the bottom of the screen. It'll kind of pop up almost like if you've ever used Adobe Acrobat or anything like that, it kind of, you know, hovers there and whatnot. So feel free to, you know, use all those features. All right, and then as Cora lets others individuals in, your microphones, I think, are enabled to just please be mindful and go ahead and mute yourselves and whatnot. I know she's really fast, but, you know, want to try and make this as fluid and easygoing as possible. All right, so before we again dive into material, I just wanted to, you know, take a moment to recognize that the information contained in this presentation is designed for educational purposes only. Nothing in this presentation is to be construed as investment, tax, legal, or accounting advice, and is not an offer to sell or solicit to buy any financial insurance products. That's not what I'm here for. I'm here to instruct, to try and provide information. So the entire presentation does not guarantee any rate of return, or any examples provided are for hypothetical illustration purposes only. I'm not using anyone's, you know, information here other than my own. Information contained in this presentation may not all be accurate due to changes in securities, insurance, and tax laws. As we know, with grant funding and anything else that's out there, things are constantly updating. So we try to make it a point to keep things up to date and current, but just please keep that in mind. And you're not going to learn everything in this webinar. We only have an hour and a half. There's a lot of financial items that can only be covered within, you know, that time frame, that time slot. So just please be mindful of that. I'm going to try and squeeze in as much as possible, but yes, just be mindful. All right, so some of you, if you've taken this class before, you're probably really familiar with, you know, the course description that I have here. So the definition that I was able to come up with for financial wellness, I feel, is the balance between having a healthy state of well-being today while preparing financially for tomorrow. And it's not necessarily about being wealthy, but it's a state of psychological well-being in which one feels they have control over their current finances and their financial future. And in this course, we're gonna guide you on how to keep your financial roller coaster well-oiled by giving you the tools to improve your financial wellness. So that, for me, is essentially what financial wellness means. And then our objectives. So session 1, we're going to cover smart spending. What is a budget? Values, needs versus wants, savings versus investing, creating an emergency fund, weekly, monthly, and seasonal expenses. And if you are planning on attending session 2, we're going to be covering credit and cash versus credit, credit reports, debt to income, paying off creditors, protecting your assets, because you also want to be able to do that, and then selecting financial institutions, fraud prevention, co-signing, depreciable assets, and owning multiple vehicles, because we know that's very common, not only in the day-to-day, you know, regular human world, but also in Indian country. I've seen it. I've lived it firsthand. So yeah, we just wanted to cover kind of like everything. So, okay. Now, here is the icebreaker. All right, so let's get to know one another. I want everyone to feel comfortable here, because when we start discussing financial wellness, I feel like a lot of the time people feel a little cringy, they feel a little uncomfortable. So I feel like this will give us an opportunity to kind of get to know one another. And then from there, we'll be able to, you know, get cozy. What would you like to approve? No. Okay. So tell me about yourself. Please share an image, words, quotes, songs, etc. that describe who you are, and please be as creative as you like. So I'm going to go ahead and put myself. Please join Nearpod, because that's the only way you're going to be able to participate. Go ahead and get in there. And post. So that is me. I went ahead and plugged in sunflowers. I only have, I'm not sure, Cora, how many participants have joined us now? 18, 17? Somewhere along there.
17.
17. Awesome. Okay, so I have 10 of you in the room. Please join us. Please, please, please. In Nearpod. Today's presentation only works if all of you participate. Oh, Jen, you're mini me. I love that. Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. Go ahead. Go ahead. Lindsay, family, a little bit of crazy, a little bit of loud, a whole lot of love. Oh, I love that. I'm going to heart that. I'm going to heart that. Oh, you guys are awesome. Thank you. Please join us. Please join us. We have 17 of you. I have 14 now joining Nearpod. So thank you for joining us. Thank you. Thank you. Come on. Search for pictures, quotes, just type in a song that you love, you know, all of that stuff. I really want to get to know all of you. It looks like, you know, this is a small class and whatnot, which is surprising considering that we had quite a few attend. Come on, y'all. And feel free to put in multiples if you want to, you know, keep adding. I love tiny houses. Oh, I love that. And I like trees. Love that for you. That. Come on, I've got 14 of you in Nearpod. Let's go. Let's go. Focus. Focus. Ooh, now I got 15. Go ahead. Put in a song lyric, an image, anything really that describes who you are. Emma, fall's my favorite season. I can't wait for cozy, chilly days. Oh, I love that. Fall's not my favorite season. Spring's my favorite season, but I get it. I get it. Happy birthday. Oh, it's a nice cake. Come on. Oh, yesterday was your birthday. Well, happy belated birthday. I love that. All right. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and move forward. Thank you for those of you that have participated, because we do have content that needs to be, you know, reviewed and so on and so forth. And I don't want to stay too long here, but moving forward, thank you for playing. With that being said, you know, I wanted to provide you all with words that you're probably going to hear a lot in today's presentation. So, such as income, expenses, debt, cash flow, assets, liabilities, bonds, financial statements, goals and dreams, when you wish upon a star. And then, you know, apps, smartphones, what we use a lot of the time for online banking and so on and so forth. Again, these are here for you. This presentation's really intended to be a resource for you to, you know, come back to and whatnot. I know Cora is going to go ahead and plug that into the chat box for you guys to hear, or for you guys to have, guys and gals to have. And then, yeah, and then from there, you know, you utilize it as you need. Okay. All right. This is where I'm really excited. So the last like month, I feel like I have been like really knee deep, particularly for this class, but also just in general, because I've, you know, been on a financial journey for quite some time, and I'm always learning and growing, and I feel like it never ends. It doesn't ever end, in my opinion, at least. So, you know, with that, I just want to mention that financial wellness starts with you. And I'm going to recommend that you start now. So, you know, our school systems don't teach our kids about financial literacy. And I think it's our job to provide as much knowledge in this field as possible. And I want what I think is a big goal, or what I would love to do is, I want everyone in the world to be financially literate, and I want everyone in the world to, have everything, the way that they would like it. I just think that's so important. And I want everyone to put their hard-earned money in places that help them move forward to that safe and cozy feeling of like, you know what? No, I have it together. I'm good. I don't have to worry about X, Y, and Z. And, some might think like, oh, that's like a pipe dream or whatnot. No, I genuinely think that, if we really open the discussion and open, our minds and so on and so forth to discuss these things, we can move forward, and then, we're better off. So just, with my experience in teaching this class and my experiences just in general, I noticed that people are afraid to talk about money, and I don't want that to be the case anymore. So whether it be that, maybe you're afraid of, the debt that you currently have or anything along those lines, like I don't want you to be afraid of it, because it's something that you can definitely tackle. It's not a forever thing, you can always change your situation. And yeah, so just wanted to, say that little tidbit about that. And with this, so on the screen, you can see Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert T. Kiyosaki. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't want to say this book has changed my life, but this book has kind of changed my life. Like, it's definitely changed the viewpoint that I have on money. So I'm going to recommend that you get it. I wish I could have provided all of this for you, but I went ahead and just plugged in the link. He has the website there. And then my colleague, Lewis Porter, our marketing coordinator, he mentioned that there's another book that Robert has wrote that is, I believe, something quadrant. In any case, I think what he has written in this book is fascinating, and it's a really good way to start looking at your money. So there's that. And then we've talked about this on our podcast. So How Money Works by Tom Matthews and Steve Siebold. Shantae Moore, who is one of our subject matter experts, she's actually the one who introduced this to us, and she provided us this book. So what I'm going to recommend is that you reach out to her, and we can go ahead and plug in her information into the chat box, but reach out to her and she can go ahead and get you this book. Definitely really easy to follow. Definitely, it's just simple. I like it. Straightforward, to the point. That is going to be my recommendation. And then I'm still in the middle of this. I Will Teach You to Be Rich by Ramit Sethi. Also really good. I think I got all of these off of Amazon for fairly like inexpensive. It's all just different concepts of, compounding and so on and so forth. So just educate yourself. That's essentially, what I'm trying to tell you. Educate yourself. And then I'm also going to recommend, you reach out to First Nations OESTA for their BNC Financial Skills for Families. So whether or not you plan on instructing this or not, I think it's just great information, because they are the ones that actually got me started on my financial journey. So that would be my recommendation there. So just take the class, get the knowledge. That is truly the best way, I think, to move forward on your financial journey. And then there's a bunch of other here, CFPB, Your Money, Your Goals curriculum, native skills, free workbooks, and so on and so forth. NeighborWorks is great. Google's also going to be your best friend. Just be careful with, certain resources. Take what you're learning, kind of assess it. Does this make sense for me? Does this make sense, in general, so on and so forth. NAHC does pathways, and we actually Cora sent me an email today for their class on pathways, home buyer education, and so on and so forth. So, take as many things as you can. Learn from them as much as possible. And then also podcasts and social media and any financial websites, Feed the Pig, Frugal, frugalliving.com, and so on and so forth. And then Penny Hoarder is also a great resource as well. I've coworkers and whatnot have used that of mine. Awesome. So that's what I've got for you as far as resources. There are more. So, okay, what I want to do here, I want to do a group breakout. So I think we have, what now, 19, Cora? So let's see. Within, okay, so within, what you would call it? Cora, are you able to set this up for me? Okay, 1 second. So I wanted to do group breakout sessions based on the questions that are here, and I wanted to get everyone to be vulnerable. I know that's a big thing. No one really wants to talk about this stuff, but I think it's so important to go ahead and do that. So take a picture of the screen, take a picture of what you have in front of me, and we are going to divide you into groups. And in those groups, you're going to discuss that question. So we have, I think, like 19 people in here. So Cora is going to divide them into 5. Okay, perfect. So groups 1 and 2, you're going to discuss, does your family discuss money? Groups 3 and 4, how do your parents or grandparents handle money? And group 5, you'll go ahead and discuss, did you have financial role models when you were growing up? If so, who was that? Okay. And then once you guys finish, so we're probably going to do this for about, give you guys 5 minutes. Feel like that's fair. Okay, 5 minutes to discuss this. Again, take a picture, take a screenshot of this, please, 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 and be prepared to get vulnerable and discuss these things with your groups. And then one of you, we can do the person with the longest hair. We'll report out. So be prepared to kind of just do an overview of what all of you discussed and what your answers were and so on and so forth. Okay? Thumbs up? Thumbs up. All right. Okay. 3, 2, 1, go.
The rooms are opening.
Okay, cool.
Mm-hmm. Where did Crystal go?
Oh,
Hello, everyone. I brought you here
Several.
so you can add one more member to your team. So we
Oh,
have
okay.
Miss Melanie in your team now. I'm sorry.
Okay. We were discussing our question. I have to look at the question again. It was, did you have a financial role model when you were growing up? If so, who was it? That's what we were talking about. And was that Craig? Craig was talking to me. Cassandra, is that you?
Hello, this is Cassandra.
Hi.
For number 5, question number 5, my financial role model was my grandma. She's still my friend. She's always taken care of the finances, expenses for, and also for our church, which is a nonprofit organization, and then also for our farming and ranching business. And so I think my grandmother is, you know, an accountant of sorts. You know, even though she's never took bookkeeping or anything, she's actually an elementary ed teacher. But she, to this day, you know, is still so meticulous in, you know, all of her bills. And, you know, so she's always been my financial role model. She's always been able to, you know, make sure all of her expenses are paid, and that she's always also been able to, you know, afford family vacations and trips, and, you know, all the extra little things that we want. She makes sure and accommodate, you know, our wants as well. And so she's always been my financial role model. She's, you know, strict with money, but she also knows how to, you know, enjoy life, and, you know, use money to enjoy life. And so she's always been my financial role model.
Okay, cool. Thanks for sharing, Cassandra.
Thank you.
Melanie, do you want to share? Melanie, you're on mute. No? Okay. Carolinus? Did I say that right? Carolus? I'm sorry. Or Jennifer. I see Jennifer's unmuted. Anybody else?
Thank you, Sally. It's Coralie's. You were close. No,
Okay.
the 5 minutes are actually up, so everybody's joining back in. So thank you so much for sharing, Sally. I'm sorry I couldn't respond. I'm running tech on the background here.
Oh, no worries. Thank you.
Okay. Sorry guys. Like I said, multiple screens. Okay, I'm gonna go back to sharing. Well, actually, no, I have all of you here. So why don't we go ahead and report out? Can group 1, does your family discuss money? Well, group 1 and 2, does your family discuss money? Bueller?
This is Trisha Spoon. I can, we did talk, I had a few people in my group, I think we were group 2, and we each shared how we talk about money. We all have different family structures, but we did talk about how we do all talk about money in our family. We all share that. I have a 14-year-old son, and I'm trying to do my best as a single parent to make sure that he's equipped. You know, we have just a few short years to get to that point. But yeah, so I think the general consensus in our group is that we do talk about it.
Awesome. I love that. Awesome. Thank you for sharing. Group 3 and 4. 3 and 4, 3 and 4.
Hi, I believe we were in group 3. My name is Carol Charles. I was conversing with Linda Flory, and somehow I dropped the call, but we were discussing how do we talk with our family on money issues and stuff. I didn't really get to get her whole side of the story because I had missed the whole conversation. So my I don't know what's going on with my computer, but it just dropped her call. So I'm sorry, we're not really able to answer that, but I'm not sure if Linda had finished her story on it.
Okay. Well, the question was, how do your parents or grandparents handle money? If you don't mind sharing with the group, I don't want to put anyone on the spot, but if anyone from that group wanted to go ahead and share that really quick, I'm happy to listen.
Okay. Linda?
Yeah, I grew up really poor, so we didn't have any money. That was it. We my parents we had 8 kids, or my parents had 8 kids. My grandmother did have a little bit of money, and she did, buy a few things for me, but for the most part, we had no money.
I completely feel that because I definitely grew up myself without having any money. So I completely am with you on that one. So thank you for sharing. I definitely appreciate that. Thank you for being vulnerable. All right. Okay, so group 5, did you have a financial role model when you were growing up? If so, who was it? So whoever wants to go ahead and share from that group.
Okay, well, I'll go ahead and share for group 5. This is Sally. We had Craig. Craig and I were both the same. We really didn't talk about money a whole lot when we were growing up. My dad paid all the bills for our family, and his parents kind of shared that task together, but really didn't talk about finances too much because, we grew up kind of on the poorer side and really didn't have a lot of money. So, and then Cassandra had a lot of experience with her grandmother, I think it was. She was the role model in her family, was her grandmother. But I couldn't hear her very well because it was a little staticky, but I did hear her say it was her grandmother was the role model for her family. And it was just us 3 that had spoke. There was some others that came into the room, but I think we ran out of time because we got pulled into the big room before we realized it. So unless anybody else has anything to add in our group, that was pretty much it.
No, that's great. Awesome. Thank you all for sharing. I definitely appreciate allowing yourselves to be vulnerable here because I do know that it's not necessarily the easiest thing to do, talking about money and whatnot, but from this exercise, what I want you all to take away is that I don't want you to be afraid to discuss money, and I don't want you to think just depending on where your background comes from, like myself and a few of you in the room as well. I myself grew up in a poor background, so my mother was never great with money. She actually had a very negative mindset with it, and then from that I, as a young adult, had a very negative mindset about money until up until I took that financial wellness class with OISTA. So that's why I push all of you, or I'm mentioning that, I recommend that all of you do take that, whether it's to instruct or not. It's there for you to gain knowledge and build a solid foundation, just for yourself and for your kids and your family, maybe even your communities too. I feel like when we know something and we share it, whether you think it's going to be a small impact or not, it can definitely have an impact. So I find it very important, trying your best to learn as much and absorb as much as you possibly can. All right. I'll get off my soapbox now. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and move forward. And we're gonna actually discuss creating a budget. And I have an Excel spreadsheet to give you guys that has things that actually calculate it for you. This is just how I do it. So this is just a resource. You don't have to use it. I'm not telling you should use this. Like, that's not what I'm here to do. I'm just providing you with a resource. This is how I do it. I think it's helpful. I think Cora does it a different way too. I think aren't you like pen and paper, Cora? Very like old school. Yeah. She's very like pen and paper. So everyone does it totally different. But I wanted, to give you something that I've used in the past and I continue to use and whatnot. So yes, but with that being said, so what I want to say here is, budget. I feel anytime we hear the word budget, I feel like what comes of that is like, oh, it's very strict. Oh, I can't do this. Like, oh, I have to be confined within, these certain hallways, if you will, or whatnot, within my finances and so on and so forth. And I don't think that necessarily has to be true. And I'll tell you why in a moment, but another way to kind of look at it is maybe calling it a spending plan. Change the narrative, change how you look at it, change how, you view it and whatnot, because in life, if you are becoming financially literate and you're becoming, if you're trying to become financially well off and so on and so forth, you're going to need a positive outlook. We can't move forward while we're, thinking so negatively about something that is going to impact us so much. So before we can create a budget, I'd like to cover some basics. All right, so just follow along and we'll get there. All right. She can't download. Okay, fear not. If you can't download it, I'll make sure that you guys get it via email, okay? So just keep that in mind. I'm not going to leave y'all hanging because I know, we're always looking for resources and ways to improve the what we do on a day-to-day basis. So yes, we will do that. I got you. All right, so here, what I wanted to cover. Ooh, wrong slide. Okay, what I wanted to cover. So I wanted to go over our values, and some of you may or not be wondering why this would be of something like importance. And for me, I think you need to really and truly understand your values in order to figure out what your needs and wants are. So, and I'm sure, again, if you've participated in my class, I talk a lot about this, but I can't emphasize how important this is enough, because everyone's needs are totally different from one another. What my needs are might not be the same as Cora's. What Cora's needs are might not be the same as Tresha's. Sorry, I'm just calling you out because that's who I see on the screen. But I think it's really important to understand that they're not the same. So what I did here on the screen, what you should be looking at right now, is a yellow chart on the left, and then on the right hand side you'll see needs, wants, and luxury. And what I have written here is that these will work in direct correlation with one another. And I really, truly believe that. So for me, number one, and this was just, I kind of like jotted it down and I left some other blank spaces because I want you guys to be able to do this as well. So for me, number one value is going to be family, then my health, because I cannot take care of my family without my health. Then you see financial security falls 4. So that is important. Some people are going to put that as number 1, and that is totally okay. That's you. No one's here to judge you. This is a judge-free zone. I'm not sharing my screen. I'm just finding out. This is a judge-free zone. Sorry, y'all. Give me 1 second. This is a judge-free zone. So I wanted to be sure to just emphasize that. Can we see Nearpod now? Hold on 1 second. Sorry. Move this over. Here. Okay, so this is as I was mentioning, this is a judge-free zone. So none of us are here to, or at least I'm not here to tell you what your priority is based on, your values. That's not what this is about. So With that, number 3 comes independence for me, and then financial security. And then 5 is going to be honesty, 6, respect, 7, self-respect, 8, commitment. And I didn't fill them all out entirely because I want all of you to tell me what your values are and whatnot. And I'll go over needs, wants, luxury as well, but I wanted to do this. So it's a values exercise. So list your top 5 values, and I have them listed here. So we've got family, health, financial security, education, heritage/culture, community, language, environment, independence, right to vote, respect, honesty, commitment, acceptance by family, self-respect. So share your thoughts and or images in the box below. I see that 16 of you are in Nearpod. Come back. If you kind of stepped away from it, and go ahead and submit your responses to this. Please, please, please. And you should have seen mine. Oh, love that. Thank you, Emma. Financial security is number 1. There we go. Come on, y'all. Come on, come on. Submit, submit. Let's go, let's go. I'm like your personal cheerleader here. All right, here we go. Family, financial security, independence, health, education, family, heritage, culture, health, financial security, community, culture and language, loves that. Family, community, health, family, financial security, health, independence, and respect. Amen. RESPECT, respect, honesty. Love that. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Come back to me, participate, participate. We're gonna do this for another moment. Give y'all a second or 2. Keep going, don't let me down. You're wondering if I'm like this at all times. The answer is yes. Very high energy. All right, Craig.
Starbucks. Just kidding.
Yeah, there we go. It's the espresso. And all the sugar in it. I actually didn't have any today. Funny story. So this is just normal, I suppose. All right, Craig wrote family, health, finance, sex. Not sure what that one is. Community and respect, family, security, health, financial, respect, community. Love that. Love it, love it, love it. This is so great. Thank you all for participating. Okay, we're gonna move forward. All right. Okay. So based on the values that y'all submitted on the previous slide, you determine those are the things that are important to you. And the reason why I say that's going to, directly correlate or fit right into your needs and wants is because it is. What I value is not necessarily going to be the same thing that Trisha or Cora values. So with that being said, I listed this for me. So I also want to know what your dreams and goals are, and let's talk about why, So in the next slide, not yet, just really quick here, I want to discuss needs and wants, or not wants versus needs. All right, so and I'm sure all of you can, out of deductive reasoning, figure this out for yourselves, but wants are going to be something that you do not necessarily need to survive, and then those needs are going to be something that is usually an expense and is necessary for survival. And depending on the individual, everybody's wants and needs are different. So please keep your values in mind. before we move forward. So with that on mine right here, I've just got needs, home, food. Love me some food. You need it to sustain life. And then I also need a home. Most people need a home in order to, have roof over their head, protection from the environment and all the things that go on in the world, okay? And then wants, endless Kate Spade, endless Starbucks coffee, and endless puppies. Who wouldn't want that? But that's also a large expense. So just, providing some examples here. All right. So on the next slide, we're going to discuss name 2 big wants and 2 big needs that you have based on your values. And then I want you to think of an ultimate goal for you and your family. Okay. And I have a participation tracker, so I know who's participating and who's not. So name 2 big wants and 2 big needs for me. Please and thank you. Participation sitting at 0%. Two big wants and 2 big needs. I'm gonna make them hairy and audacious, as Vince would say. Hairy and audacious goals. Hairy and audacious wants. No one's here to judge. Ooh, I have some answers. I hope y'all don't mind me reading these out. Wants, shoe shed and honoring for my mom's 75th birthday. I love that. Needs, roof and updated vehicle. Okay. Ooh, we'll start from the top. I only got one, yo. Ooh, there we go. Want, wealthy and security. Need, security and health. Security is a very big thing. I completely understand that. Okay. Good health, home, new roof, siding, emergency fund. There we go. Thanks, Bar. Ooh, wants, travel, a dog. I love that. Needs, pay off student debt, emergency fund. Love that as well. And in the future, just food for thought, Cora and I are going to be doing a podcast where we're going to discuss sinking funds. Right, Cora? Yes. Wonderful. Come on, y'all. Ooh. Okay, let's see. Let me discuss. Endless vacations with families, provide homes for every single family member. Oh, I love that. Needs, safe, stable home, good health. Amen. Expanded home site, maybe purchase more land, Alaska or Columbia River. Love that. Take care of my health. Yes. 2 big wants, motorhome, cabinet hometown. 2 big needs, bigger garage, new driveway. Needs, save, retirement, want, travel trailer. Love that. She said, okay, wants new flooring for my home and new vehicle. Needs, new mattress and food. I have a 14-year-old football player. Woo! I'm sure he eats a lot. Wants, house, trip to Europe. Love that. Needs, emergency savings, pay off debt. Wants, become a homeowner and family be financially stable. Needs, financial savings and credit improvements. Wants, purchase new home in Hawaii and move our home to our land. Love that. Needs financial stability in retirement and to be debt free. That is the dream. Good health home. We did that. Okay. All right. Love it. Okay. I'm going to close this and we're going to move forward. Thank you all for participating. I really, really appreciate it. And now, based off of what we just discussed, I feel like we can go into the TAT system. I'm sure a few of you are quite familiar with this. But again, I think it's an important process. It's just a tool. It's essentially a tool to help you create that spending plan or budget. And I have it in every single presentation because for me, this was the best tool. It helped me break down how to move forward and create that budget, okay? Or spending plan. So again, I've never liked the word budget. It sounds rigid and stiff. I always, after taking that BNC class, I preferred the term spending plan. Choose whatever you may, but let's go ahead and go throughout, the cycle, if you will. So we start off with track. So all you're essentially doing is looking at the money that's coming in and the money that's coming out. So you're seeing what's getting deposited and you're seeing what's leaving your bank account, what's going, what's disappearing, if you will, or what feels like disappearing, because I know sometimes that's how it can feel. And then from there, we've got assess. So a keyword here in the presentation is to evaluate. Take a step back and look at things and realize that maybe some of our habits aren't doing us so good. Maybe we have habits that are doing us very good. But the point here is to evaluate, take a look, assess what's actually happening with our finances on I'm going to recommend a monthly basis. I look at my finances weekly to keep track. Call that obsessive, whatever you may. But I think it's, for me, it's what keeps me sane. It's what keeps me on an even kind of like keel. So yes, so track, assess, then favorite part, take action. Most people spend their lives planning and plotting to make something happen, anything happen. And this step in the tax system is no longer about staring at your bank account or the plan you created and hoping it moves on its own, right? Don't you? I think from a standpoint, a regular human being, right here, we look at it and we're like, maybe tomorrow, or maybe next month. I'm all right. But yeah, and your plan can be sitting there and you're like, don't worry about that another day. No. Take action, take responsibility, hold yourself accountable. And just like Nike, just do it. Okay. All right. And then the last in there is going to be save. Put it away or put it into an asset. Take whatever cash flow you have left that you can into a savings account, into an IRA, into, something that's going to help you accumulate, something that's going to help you benefit. Maybe it's a matter of, because everyone's journey is very different, but maybe it's a matter of taking that extra cash and putting it towards debt. Anything really, just keep in mind that your spending plan isn't always going to be the same throughout the year. It'll change, it'll fluctuate. And I think a lot of the time, and I know this definitely was in my case, I thought like, oh, this is how it's going to be forever. I don't want to do that then. Like, that's not fun. I want to go on vacations. I want to experience life and the world and whatnot. And whatever it may be. It's not the case. All of this stuff is temporary. You're essentially creating these smaller plans so that you can, reach those bigger goals. And you do it one step at a time. You don't take, you don't conquer the whole staircase in one gigantic step. Unless you're like Elastigirl or something, I don't know, superhero or something, but in most cases we're not. So just keep that in mind. It's not a forever thing. It's going to be something that's always going to change. So track, assess, take action, and save. Definitely a good foundation to kind of start your spending plan, your budget, and whatnot. All right, moving forward. So again, this is just an overview of this. So track your incomes, your salaries, your side jobs, your tax refunds, your per capita payments, child support if you're receiving it. You're going to want to take a look at all of that, all the stuff that's coming into your home. So here what I have is a monthly household income take home. This is what you're taking home, like what's actually getting deposited into the bank account. Okay. So here in the example, I've got Cora and I, and our wages and whatnot, and then any extra income that we may have. So I'm bringing in $1,920. Cora's bringing in $1,760, and then we have an extra income of $250. And I'm a tribal preschool assistant making $12 an hour, and Cora is a security guard. Watch out, guys. She's gonna get you. And then Cora, because she has many talents, she sells native artwork on the side. She paints. Maybe she does beadwork. Maybe put yourself in this situation. You're tracking your income. You're tracking all the money that's coming in. Okay, that's pretty much the gist of this one. It's pretty. What I love about the OESTA curriculum specifically is that it's fairly simple. It's easy to grasp and understand, I feel. All right, then we have assess your footing. So evaluate, again, take a look at fixed and flexible expenses. I didn't really touch on this, but I'm going to here. So fixed expenses are going to be those monthly costs that do not change every month. So think of things like your rent, maybe your mortgage, car payments, loan payments, insurance premiums, all those things that are just like the same, that hit you every single month on the same day of each month. And you're like, oh, again. But they're things that are usually things that you need, so just keep that in mind. And then flexible expenses, monthly costs that could change each month, such as groceries, utilities, gas, any ceremonial costs, anything along those lines. They fluctuate, they move. They're not always the same. Okay. Yeah. I mean, it's really just a matter of looking at both. And on my budget sheet, if any of you are looking at it or been kind of like perusing, like, let me look at this. I've got a tab to take a look at this. And we'll go over it in just a second. All right. So take action. Again, just do it. It's understanding I want the TV, but I need a new refrigerator. Understanding that difference between, I want Kate Spade, but I need, to pay my electric bill, or I need to pay, maybe there's something wrong with my car and I have to fix that with my car, really taking a look at that and deciding, you know what, maybe not right now. And does that suck? Yes. I mean, if we could always buy whatever it was that we wanted anytime, I'm pretty sure we'd all be very happy. But that's just not the case sometimes. It's just accepting the reality of, life and the things that come up and whatnot, because I think we can all come into some sort of agreement that life throws wonderful curveballs at us. It might not always seem so wonderful, but they are there. And I think it's important to try and be as prepared as possible. All right. Okay, so here, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to share. Do I have it open? I believe I do. Let me just find it. Okay, can all of you see this? Let me know. I'm going to drag all of you over here. Okay, cool. So we see, there we go. Okay, so we see this. So in this, I did something very basic. And what's funny was this actually came from an ex-boyfriend that I helped. We were living together. I'm gonna just get vulnerable here. We were living together. We both realized our expenses weren't, we were coming up short, essentially. Our cash flow was coming up short in the month. And And that's not good. You don't want a negative cash flow, and you don't want to be sitting at like break even. I mean, if that's your situation and that's what you have to deal with right now, there's nothing wrong with that. But we want to get you to a point where you're not sitting at that. And when I created this, that's essentially what we were doing. We were like looking at everything that was going on, and we were like, well, I don't like not having money. So let's take a look at what is coming out of, all the bank accounts. And then from there, make decisions and realizations and so on and so forth. And let me tell you something, when you sit there and you're looking at your bank account and you're plugging things into the Excel spreadsheet, you realize some things. You're like, what? I spend like, so here, for example, so this is track. So what I did here, I just plug some things in. So this is a little bit of my life. So you get a little sneak peek of some crazy things that I spend my money on, but this isn't total. So I just want to, put that out there. I'm not putting any salaries or anything like that. I just threw numbers in here and gave examples of some things that I do spend my money on. So I'm being vulnerable. No judgments, okay? So with that, I've got a couple of columns. I'm just going to kind of break it down for all of you. So you should be able to see bank account number 1. You got a money column next to that. Then you got bank account number 2, then another money column, the bank account number 3, and then another money column. Now, I don't have 100 bank accounts. I put this here for all of you because I know there are people who have multiple bank accounts because I've experienced that. If you need it, you can go ahead and plug, those items in there. But essentially, all I did was, for example, looked at my bank account, opened everything up, put things side by side, and I started to plug them in, okay? And I put the total. So all I did in this column, let's see if it highlights. Can you see that it's highlighted? Can I get a head nod? Yeah. Okay, cool. So you see that it's highlighted. All I did to fill this in was I put minus the dollar amount. That's all I did. You don't have to do any calculations at the bottom. It's going to do them for you. So that's the cool thing about this. So you don't have to do the math. And then let's say you need more line items, right? Because I mean, this is literally just a tidbit of, what an actual monthly bank account would actually look like. You just literally click the line, insert, okay? And it'll insert another line for you to do it, and it's going to calculate on its own. All right, so I put in some blank spaces there for you so that you can, plug whatever it is that you need. And then if you need more, now you know how to add lines. If you need me to review that again, I can go ahead and do that. But I'm going to go ahead and move forward to assess. So after I tracked everything, right? So look at all this. I highlighted things that I noticed I'm spending my money on, right? So like if we look here, for example, we've got Uber Eats 3 times. Who is she? Who does she think she is? Spent $26 on one. I spent 24 on another, and then 19 on another. Again, who is she? Who does she think she is? Is this a flexible expense? Yes, because I don't have to do it. And then is this also a luxury expense? I didn't mark it, but yes, it is. It is a luxury expense. I could be cooking at home. I could be saving money and making my dinners, my lunches, my whatever. Now, again, the reason why we discuss needs versus wants, and I didn't really touch on luxury items. Luxury items are going to be those things that are, like a new iPhone when you don't need one. Maybe a new car when you already have a perfectly working, functioning car, like, or a video game console, or Kate Spade, or even on here, Starbucks. That's not, none of that stuff is needed for survival. None of that stuff. In my life, I will say that much. I'm going to put that disclaimer. In my life, none of that's needed. I can make my coffee at home. I can make dinner, breakfast, and lunch at home. I can, what else we got on there? Tacos for you. That's not an actual place. I just plugged in a name. But with that, those are all luxury, expenses. Now, the one thing I do want to mention, when you are assessing, I don't want you to judge yourself. Like I poke fun at myself and whatnot because that's my nature. I don't want you to judge yourself. I just want you to plug in what it is that you're spending your money on. And then from there, I want you to assess whether it's a fixed or flexible expense, and then is it a luxury item as well? Okay, and that's what I did on this tab of assess. Okay, and then I also took it a step further and I put, can I reduce spending in this area? And if it's a yes, awesome. If it's a no, you know, for example, like FPL or, you know, my rent or whatever it may be, there are going to be things that you can't, you know, that you can't adjust, but the point is that you take a look at them and you assess them and you realize what is and what isn't. Okay, and then from there, I didn't plug anything else in here, but what I wanted to provide you with is a line or a column that says, how much will I now pay in this category, right? So I took a hard look. I spent quite a bit of money on Uber Eats. I don't have to live without Uber Eats. If that's something I enjoy, if that's something I value, you know, the ease and comfort of having my food delivered, like, you know, whatever, instantly or within 30 to 45 minutes or whatever it may be, I'm allowed to make that determination for myself. But I'm putting that as a section within my budget, within my spending plan to accommodate that. And again, that might not be of your values or, you know, your wants or anything along those lines, but nevertheless, they are in mine. And I'm going to make sure that I put that within my budget or my spending plan so that I can do that every once in a while. Okay, because you don't ever, I don't ever think that you want to go into creating your spending or budget or any spending plan or budget or anything like that with completely cutting yourself off from something, because what usually happens is you deprive yourself of those things, and then from there you end up overspending in the next month. So just know where your money is going. Know that every dollar is accounted for. And Shantae Moore, she's a subject matter expert. She's the one who introduced us into how money works and whatnot. We actually did a podcast episode. You guys should listen to those, where we actually go into depth about talking about that, knowing where every dollar is going, creating categories for things, and you know, allowing a certain amount of dollars to go towards that. So I hope this was helpful. I hope, you know, you guys can use this as a tool, you know, whether it's for yourself or someone else or whatever it may be. That's what it's there for. In order to delete things, all you have to do is literally just hit the backspace on that, and then you can go ahead and plug in your own numbers. But yeah, so can I get a thumbs up? Let me know if that was good. You enjoyed that? Yeah, awesome. Feel free to use those emojis and whatnot as well. Okay, now I'm going to go back. I'm going to go ahead and close this up. Save. Give me just a moment. Okay. Go back here. Set window. Nearpod. Okay. Oh, mouse. Sorry, y'all. Lost my mouse. Every time I stop sharing and then share, I can't find it. Okay. All right. So now I've shown you what, you know, a potential budget can look like. This was something that was just food for thought, and I thought was very interesting. So in Rich Dad, Poor Dad, big believer of reading. I have all my books and things here, but in Rich Dad, Poor Dad, what's something that I found to be quite fascinating while I was reading the book was that Robert, the author, he's trying to get everyone to think differently about money, and he's trying to really allow all of us to take responsibility for the money that we have and the money we could potentially be making. Okay, so therefore in the book he displays 3 versions of income statements and balance sheets, which is what you're looking at on the screen. He believes that what's displayed here is of that of a rich or wealthy person. I'm going to go ahead and explain it. So in here, what he's talking about on the left-hand side, you should see income statement. You should see a green arrow pointing in, and there's a like long line that leads into assets and whatnot on the balance sheet. Okay. So what he's saying here are assets versus liabilities. So what I found to be interesting was in the book, he mentions usually when people go into purchasing homes, right, we think of that as an asset because we're like, oh, I have property and whatnot. But in the book, he mentions that no, that's not an asset. That ends up being a liability because you're not making income from it. You want to put your money towards things that are going to give you income, essentially. So I'm saying not own a home because I think, you know, that is a lot of people's dreams, and I'm not here to be a dream crusher by any means. That's something I eventually want to do as well. I just thought what he had mentioned in there was very interesting. So here, the green arrow that's coming from assets to income. So under assets, he has real estate, stocks, bonds, notes, intellectual property, and all of that goes into income. So rental incomes, dividend, interest, and royalties. Okay. And he thinks that anything that isn't an asset becomes a liability. So your mortgage, your consumer loans, I misspelled that, oops. Consumer loans and credit cards and whatnot. I really thought that concept was very, and I'm sure a lot of you are like, no, that's pretty like, you know, on point or whatnot. But for me, I thought that was very interesting. That was a new way to like look at things because growing up, I definitely thought having or buying a home was an asset versus a liability, but I can see why he would think that buying your own home to live in is a liability versus an asset until you figure out and I had a coworker actually help try and like navigate through this. So he was saying until you find a way to essentially have your home paid for by another source of income or, you know, whatever it may be, then that's when it becomes an asset because it's not coming out of your pocket. It's coming out from like a venture that's, you know, that's running on its own. Definitely read the book. There's more on that. That is just like the Cliff Notes version, essentially. And like I said, I found that to be interesting. So just food for thought, food for thought. All right. Do any of these look familiar to you? You've seen commercials for them, Affirm, Klarna, Afterpay. If a home is paid off, does it become an asset? So again, I'm not a financial advisor, but it becomes an asset in the sense that you have it paid off and whatnot, but you're not receiving income from it unless you're renting it out. If you're renting it out, let's say you I don't know, whatever situation that you create for yourself, you rent it, or let's say you rent out a room, then I think then it becomes an asset. Oh, Charles wrote no. See, there you go. And this is going to be a difference of opinion for everyone. This is, again, this is not the end all be all. This was something that I read in a book and I found to be fascinating. What I am going to recommend, and I have a slide for this, is that any big financial decisions that you make, you seek the help of a financial advisor, which, by the way, I also found out does not always cost money. And I have someone, I don't want to solicit anyone here or anything like that, but I do have someone that is trusted and whatnot that I can recommend. So if you want that information, let me know and I'll be sure to provide that. But with that being said, that nitty gritty stuff that you guys really want to know about, definitely seek the assistance of a financial advisor. And again, like I said, not all of them cost money. Some of them do, but there are quite a few out there that do not. And I thought that was fascinating because I always thought, in my mind, you had to pay for that kind of information, and that's not always the case. Our podcast talks about that, so take a look at that. But here with this one, I just wanted to mention, these things: Affirm, Klarna, Sezzle, Afterpay, QuadPay, which is also, I believe, known as Zip. They're all essentially another tool that's out there, considered a marketing ploy, whatever it may be. I've used them. I've used a few of them, and I have found them to be helpful. But here's what I have to say about them. If you're going to use these, And for those that are wondering what these are, they're essentially tools to help you pay off those bigger ticketed items that you wouldn't be able to pay up front. And then there are some people who live in that the idea that, oh, well, if you can't afford it, then you shouldn't be buying it. And that's totally fine. That's, you know, I totally understand that way of thinking and whatnot. But I did want to present an opportunity to you for shopping. If that is something that is of value to you, maybe Christmas, all, you know, all the holidays that are coming up and whatnot, this can be a tool if and only if you're responsible with it. So the idea is that these apps, these programs, if you will, provide you an ability to split payments, again, for those bigger ticketed items. Every one of them is different. I plugged in all the information into the chart, so you guys can go ahead and read that on your own. It's there for you to, you know, make that financial decision for yourself, but it is there. And I've used Afterpay. I enjoy it. Most of them have no interest that's tacked on, which is a really cool thing. Doesn't get reported to your credit card companies or anything like that. They don't do a credit check on you, anything along those lines. But it is a tool, and they're kind of popping up everywhere on the internet and whatnot. So I figured someone may ask, you may have wondered, and now you have the information in front of you. Okay. Again, just more resources, essentially. All right. Save your fry bread. Okay. So with that, just as I mentioned earlier, when I was doing an overall explanation, put money away, put it in things that are going to accumulate you money, whether that be a savings account, direct deposit from paychecks, and you know, you can have it directly put into a savings account, investing in a retirement account, bonds, stocks. Now, something else that I figured out recently was that I'm gonna wrap up here because I know we're coming up to the end, but something I wanted to mention was that what I found out was that apparently for certain stock options, bonds, investments, and so on and so forth, you actually need the assistance of a financial advisor, which I thought that to be quite interesting. And yeah, so if you are interested in those things, seek the help, ask those questions, do the research, and figure out legitimacy. And I have something for you to do that as well. But yeah, saving, put the money away, or take the money that you have put away and start paying off debt slowly and whatnot. You know, use that extra cash flow or whatnot to either put it away or, you know, pay off that debt. All right, just some ways really quick. No spend challenge. Here's something I wanted to mention. I've done this before. I kind of find it fun. Like, she's crazy. How does she find something like that fun? But ideally, you create a no spend period, which will help make you make like long lasting changes within your spending plan, budget, and so on and so forth to change certain habits. So, you know, going maybe without Starbucks, my favorite, or maybe going without, I don't know, 7-Eleven, snacks, all those kinds of things, Dunkin' Donuts, all those things that we look at our bank account and we're like, how did that add up to that? And it's because I went like 100 times in the month of, you know, May or whatever it may be. So it's just, again, taking a look at it and deciding like, maybe I'm going to go without, I'm going to do without Starbucks for 2 weeks. I'm going to see how I do. And then maybe from there, what ends up happening is, oh, that wasn't so bad. I'm going to go an extra 2 weeks and see how that goes. And then maybe you create a new pattern for yourself. But it's all about taking control of your situation and moving forward from there. But yeah, you can do it for a weekend, you can do it for a week, a month, you know, you set the challenge for yourself. You make up your own rules essentially. And that's what I like about it. And then here's just, you know, 4 ways to challenge yourself to stop sending money. So it's pretty self-explanatory. Ban spending for a set amount of time, which I already mentioned. Track no spend days. So track the days that you're not spending money and see how much money you've spent. And that might be a great motivator for you. All right. Target your weaknesses. Realize, I love Starbucks, but it's awful for my bank account. Okay. Maybe I do without it. And then free spending during special occasions. Maybe you're going to the mall, right? And you're like, I'm not spending any money. So you leave all the credit cards and whatnot at home. All right. So just get creative. Think of ways, you know, to challenge yourself to improve our financial situations. And now, activity. All right, so what are some ways you save? Go into Nearpod and tell me them, please and thank you. Please and thank you. I'm gonna give you about like 2 minutes. I'm gonna put a timer because we're nearing the end of the presentation and I want to be respectful of everyone's time. So you got 2 minutes starting now. Go, go, go. Leave cards at home. Love that. Come on, y'all. I got 17 of you in Nearpod. Let's go. What are some ways you save? Automatic transfers into my savings account. Love that. Leave cards at home. Got a minute and 20 seconds. I put away 200 every paycheck. I love that. That's so good. And I hope that makes you feel good too, whoever put that in there. Coupons. Love me a good coupon. If you're looking for some coupon, apps, I'll tell you right now, I've got Honey. It's a great tool. It allows you to search certain stores. 5 minutes left in your scheduled meeting time. Yeah, it allows you to search certain stores and it'll help you find coupons and whatnot. Retail Me Not, I've heard of and I've used in the past. Cora, you have like an app thingy that collects points or something like that. What is that one? Do you mind sharing? $30 seconds. Fetch. Perfect. Go ahead.
Oh no, you just scan your receipts after every purchase that you do, and it'll give you points that you can use in like Visa cards, Apple cards.
Love it. Love it. Thank you. Oh, that's a timer. Okay, what do we have? Automatic transfers into my savings account. Hide my savings account on my mobile banking. I love that. Makes it harder to transfer money for once. Amen. All right. Cook at home. Yes, that's great. I eat at home. I don't buy coffee. I have 2 savings accounts with no debit cards. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Plan to be busy home weekend, no spend. Yes, I love that. Plan and cut out extras in advance. Yes, that is great. Coupons. I put away 200. Let's see what else. 20% of paycheck direct deposited in savings, cut the cable cord and stream, no unnecessary spending. Love it. That's great. If it works for you, keep doing it. Only shop when something needed and shop alone. Yes, I noticed that when I remember being a kid growing up and we went to the grocery store with my mom and you know what we would do? Start throwing things in the cart that don't need to be there. And then she'd take them out and then we get to the cash register and we sneak it back in, and then without her realizing, because I grew up with 3 other siblings, so there's 4 of us, bam, there you go, grocery bill through the roof. So, and I mean that can go for anything. So yeah, if you can, leave them at home, shop alone, go with a list as well. I've heard that helps. I know that helps me, so you don't kind of deviate from that and know the amount that you're going to be spending, at that point in time. Sock drawer, savings. I love it. COVID definitely helped with saving, that's for sure. Definitely. All right, well, thank you all for participating in that one. So really quickly, I'm going to just speed through these. Again, I want to be respectful. I know we kind of started a few minutes late, but savings, it's to saving versus investing. Let me slow down. What does saving mean? It means to preserve something by not expending or using it. And then what does investing mean? Expend money with the expectation of achieving a profit or material result by putting it into financial plans, shares, or property, or by using it to develop a commercial venture. Okay, we're gonna go a little bit more in detail with this. So again, saving, putting money aside gradually, and then investing, you're using your money with the aim of making it grow. Okay, so usually with savings, there's moderate risk, there's less return, usually. I said usually, this is not an end all be all. And it's usually for short-term requirements. And then with investing, it's usually high risk, but you also get high return. And it's usually made for high return and increased capital formation. Okay, and then just below this are just the steps, you know, that discuss what really goes into savings. I'm not going to go in depth with this or anything like that. But basically, you know, you have a money surplus, you start to accumulate, you put it away, you know, based on a goal, whether that be, you know, maybe a rainy day fund or anything like that. And then from there, you start to think about, you know, needs that you may have. And then, you know, you work towards that as well. Okay. And you avoid, if you can, dipping into all that surplus, because I know what usually happens is we see that surplus and we're like, oh, that's a nice chunk of change. Let me look into what I could spend that on. But no, don't touch it. Try and avoid touching it, you know. Create that emergency savings fund, create just a basic savings fund, create goals for yourself, create, you know, dreams for yourself, things that you really want to accomplish. Okay. That's just really the emphasis on there. And then other things to consider: seasonal expenses, weekly, monthly, and seasonal expenses such as holidays, back to school, birthdays, unexpected emergencies. Things happen, life happens, you know, we, God forbid, we break a leg, we break an arm, you know, whatever it may be, or, you know, back to school just started in Broward County. Pretty much I'm going to comfortably say across the states, right? I feel like most of the kids have gone back to school. So, you know, I'm sure all of you got hit with, oh gosh, now I need composition books and binders and pencils and crayons and so on and so forth. My recommendation for all of those things is to try and plan ahead as best as possible. I know sometimes we can't, but if you can, try and do that. I know that usually eases, you know, the pain of having to buy those items. And same thing goes for birthdays and any holidays, whether it be parties or when. I know we're probably not meeting as much due to COVID and whatnot, but nevertheless, it's always good to try and be as prepared as possible for those events. Okay. All right, and then this was the one major thing that I did want to mention. How do I know if someone is qualified to help me? So I actually pulled this from our wonderful, again, I love working with her so much. She's been such an asset for us. I'm not trying to solicit for her, but Shantae Moore, she provided this information for us on a previous presentation. I just found it to be so helpful and informative. So how do I know if someone is qualified to help me? Are they properly licensed? If anyone says that they can help you with investments, they should have a securities license, and you can check this by going to www.brokercheck.finra.org. And then some other things: how many financial and insurance companies do they represent, and how many products can they offer you? Okay, and then how long have they been in the industry as a licensed financial professional, and how are they compensated? Definitely something you want to look into. And then, are they truly able to provide unbiased advice? You know, I'm sitting here providing you guys with the knowledge and information that I have from my experiences and whatnot. That's something that you always want to consider when you're taking advice or information from someone. You know, absorb it, think, where are they actually getting all of this from? And then go from there. Bottom line, if I feel my money was negligently mismanaged, can I file a lawsuit against this person? You want to be sure that you can do that. All right. And just be mindful, be conscious. Okay. I don't want your hard-earned dollars going to, you know, the wrong person or situation or whatever it may be, because we work hard for our money. I definitely believe that, you know, and we're trying to keep it in our pockets. We're not trying to, you know, spend it frivolously or, you know, get rid of it as quickly as possible. So don't let people take advantage of you. All right, so here are some resources. I put Penny Hoarder on there. Unbox is another, well, they're no longer, sorry, that was a miss on my part, but it's Dobbins Patterson Learning now. And then we've got consumerfinance.gov. There's a bunch of stuff on there for you to look at. With that being said, this is the end of the presentation. Your questions, give them to me now. Put them in the chat box, please, and thank you. I'm here to help you, and I know we're 3 minutes past, so I'm sorry. I just wanted to be sure to get through all of this. So if you have questions, go ahead and submit them. I'm going to stay here, stay behind, and if you can, go ahead and plug in some pluses and wishes on Nearpod before you head out. And then we also have a survey. So go ahead and plug, Cora, can you go ahead and plug that in for me into the chat box, please? And thank you. But any pluses and wishes that you can add, go ahead and put them in there, please. Anything you wish I had discussed, maybe. I'm here to help and make this as informative as possible. So please, please, please. Like I said, I'm going to hang back. So if you want to ask any questions, I'm going to leave it open for y'all to do so. So I'm going to quit jibber jabbering. Don't feel shy. I'm here to be as helpful and resourceful as possible. And I hope you enjoyed it. I hope this was informative. Tresha, thank you. Thank you. I'm glad it was. Oh, you're welcome. Thank you. Oh, I'm glad, Jennifer. Thank you so much for participating and attending today. Definitely appreciate it.